Hey there! So it's again another Monday Marvel, and this week I'm happy to come to you with the song of the week being Warriors by Imagine Dragons. Now, I absolutely just love everything Imagine Dragon does. They are fantastic, and I love most every song I've listened to by them. Warriors is fairly newish. It came out recently to promote the World Finals for League of Legends, and it's just a really good song. I think the music video that goes along with it is really fantastic and spot on, and so I think you should all go give it a listen to, and I'll link to it down below so you can do that. So this week I want to talk about role models and just kind of being careful not to idolize our role models, because I feel like that's something that I kind of get in a bad habit of doing sometimes, and I feel like lots of people find themselves in that same boat. So what am I? How can having a role model be a bad thing? Because pretty much everybody and their grandma has a role model of sorts. Well, if you take the role model to the next level and you put them on a pedestal, that's kind of where it starts going downhill. So putting people on pedestals to begin with isn't exactly the best practice to do, because people are humans and humans are going to mess up, and eventually they're either going to fall or that pedestal is just going to completely crumble beneath them, and you're going to be left saying, how could that person do that? And you just completely blame them for being human, which we all are. So that's interesting to think about, and I find myself I put people on pedestals often, which is bad. I put my family, I put my friends, and then they're human, and I don't so much. At first I get mad at them because I'm like, how could you do that? How could you fall off this pedestal that I've given you? But then I kind of look at it and realize they're human. They're not trying to fall off these pedestals. They're being human. I wouldn't have lasted on that pedestal. I didn't last on my pedestal that I made for myself. And just pedestals in general are bad. They hold humans in general to unbelievable expectations, and the first sign of humanity that comes through knocks us off that pedestal. And so it's important not to put people on pedestals. It's alright to look up to someone and say, you know, that person's really wonderful in the way they're handling situations and how they're going about achieving what they want in life. I want to be like that. But the moment you say they can't do any wrong, you're setting them up for failure, and you're setting yourself up for that disappointment, which even now sounds really silly to be saying, because I really trust people a lot, and acknowledging that holding people to unrealistic standards is not a great thing for them or yourself is tough, and I struggle with it sometimes, but it's something that I'm working on, and I think everyone needs to be aware of. So I guess to summarize all of this, it's not a bad thing to have role models, to have people that you look up to and that you want to be more like, and that's wonderful. And I have a ton of role models in my life, and I learn from every single one of them pretty much every day, and I grow more and more and become better and better because of that. But at the same time, when I put them on pedestals and they fall, it hurts. It hurts my view of them, and it hurts myself. I get upset that I was silly enough to idolize and put them on this pedestal. And I think it's important that we don't. And it's also important that we realize that nobody's infallible. Everyone's going to make mistakes, whether they're a famous superstar who's making millions every day, or whether they're that person who's still in middle school who isn't working and is making absolutely no money. And everyone in all spectrums and all ages and all walks of life, everyone's going to make a mistake. And you have to be able to acknowledge that they can do that. You have to be able to acknowledge that A, they can make mistakes, and that their mistakes are actually mistakes, and B, you have to be able to acknowledge that they're going to make mistakes. And if you can't do that, then that's a bad place to be. Moral of the story is be careful when you look up to someone and when you make them a role model and when you take and put them on a pedestal. Because you can put someone on a pedestal and it not be a terrible thing, but you have to be careful in doing that. And you have to be careful when you make someone a role model. You have to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and you have to make sure that you understand everything that comes with it. Because someone who is a wonderful role model can grow up and make bad choices and become a terrible role model later in life. And if they're such a role model that you will do whatever they say, then you will also grow up and make terrible decisions later in life because you're blindly following them. So I guess that's it. Just don't blindly follow someone regardless of whether or not they're a role model. Be critical of everything that you see and hear. Think. So, with all that being said, I love you all. Don't forget to smile. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your week if you're watching this on Monday. If you're watching this not on Monday, I hope you're just having a wonderful whatever time of the week it is, because you deserve it. And we all deserve it. And why not make the most of it? Adios.